Today we're going to talk about how your kids may actually be happier with fewer toys. We're going to talk about the No-Toys Nursery, what they did, how it worked out, how you can apply that stuff to your life, and which toys you should keep. Let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos on raising intentional children and living intentional lives. We publish a video every Friday. For 3 months out of the year, Friedrich-Engels-Bogen, a nursery in Munich, Germany, takes away all of their kids' toys and leaves them with only tables, chairs, and a few blankets to play with. At first, this may seem cruel, but on second glance, it's actually proven to be quite insightful. And it's an effective way for them to encourage children to create their own fun. And most of all, it works. And while this nursery only takes the toys away for 1/4 out of the year, it has been eye-opening to look inside the minds of children and the creativity and the things they can do when they don't have toys to play with. Please forgive me if I'm pronouncing all of these names wrong. I lived in Italy, I did not live in Germany, so we'll see how my German pronunciation goes. Probably not very good. Gisela Marty, a teacher at that nursery, said this: "In these 3 months, we offer the children space and time to get to know themselves, and because they are not being directed by teachers or toys, the children have to find new ways to master their day in their own individual way." They said the first day of this experiment proved to be a little bit boring for the kids. They didn't know what to do. They just kind of stared at each other and looked around, and they were a little confused, and they didn't really know how to get started without toys or without any of the stuff they were used to. But it did progress from there in a very good way. Another teacher at the nursery, Gudrun Huber, said this: "The children didn't know what to do, but we left them alone, even if they were bored, because sometimes things in life are boring and you have to learn to cope." So the nursery workers stayed back and let the children do whatever they were going to do, and by the second day, things started to change. Gudrun went on to say, "Once the children realized they could do what they liked and they were in control, they really went a bit mad. They got very boisterous and excited, climbing all over the furniture. The children began laughing and playing with everything they did have, making forts out of blankets and creating their own games." And this isn't the only nursery that's doing this. This idea is actually catching on, and there's more examples of this happening all over the world. Why does this work? Because we appreciate more with less. So does that story mean that you should go donate all the toys in your house right now? No, probably not. But I think it'd be fine if you did. You can see from that example that it would be fine if you did, but I'm not saying that. You have to do that. We all appreciate the things we have when we have fewer things. When we can reach a state of contentment and appreciation for the things that we do have, not only will we be happier in general, but we won't want as many things. And it's not just about happiness. Your child will learn to be more sociable and creative with fewer options as far as toys and things to play with go. Also, their attention span will increase dramatically when they have fewer things to play with. The bottom line is that kids become better at playing, and definitely better at playing with each other when there are fewer things to play with. How common is it for your kids to walk into their room or their toy room or the play area, look at the mountains of toys and say, "I have nothing to play with, I'm bored, there's nothing to do"? In the same way, we walk into our kitchen and do the same thing. We look at our pantry that's full of all kinds of food and say, "Oh, there's nothing to eat in this house." That's the culture that we are used to. That's the society that we live in. It's conditioned us. It's part of our culture to be discontent with what we have and to want more. That's not our fault. Once again, that's been ingrained by the marketing and advertising companies. So how many toys is enough? I think every American family could easily reduce the amount of toys in their home by 50%, and it would be perfectly fine. You could probably go further. We've went further before, depending on which time I'm referring to of the times that we've reduced the kids' toys. And in the rare event that our kids actually freaked out about some of the things we were donating and they didn't want to let them go, they completely forgot they ever even owned it by the next day, and it was fine. Our kids are typically fine with getting rid of a lot of toys because they know it creates more open space and more room for them to play with the toys that they do have. They understand that they don't play with a lot of their toys. That's why we're constantly kind of going through and getting rid of things and downsizing the toys so that they're only keeping what they really want and appreciate. There's no magic number on how many toys we should keep, but I'm sure we all can agree that we all can get rid of a certain amount of toys. I do recommend sitting down with your kids and talking them through this. Don't donate all their toys while they're at school and then they come home and they have issues with hoarding later because the things were taken out from underneath them whenever they were at school and they were gone, and now they come home to nothing. You don't want to do that, but talk through this with your kids. They will understand it, especially because they are still keeping toys. And it gives the potential for them to maybe buy a new toy or to buy something that they really do appreciate because they're getting rid of all this junk that they don't appreciate. A lot of that junk probably came into your home by people giving it to you through presents and gift giving, and I'll go ahead and link a video that I did on that recently on how gift giving creates clutter. And your kids may fight back on this idea of reducing the toys, understandable, but do it gradually if that's the case. Because I promise, and I'm sure you know, that once these toys are gone, your kids are not going to be thinking about them anymore. But at the same time, don't donate their favorite things, their favorite toys. If they play with them, that defeats the purpose. We're trying to get rid of all the stuff that they don't play with. So what are the best toys to keep? As with anything, you'll have to decide for yourself, but these are the toys that I recommend keeping in the kind of standard that we follow in our home that seems to be best for our kids. Legos. They spark creativity as kids build whatever they want, and they promote social play. Board games. They teach many cognitive skills and promote social play, though some are more useful than others. I will put an article below I did on 53 board games to teach your kids about money if you want to go that route. Crafts. Anything that promotes creativity and art is worth keeping, especially when they can do the crafts with their siblings and therefore more social play. Educational toys. Things like a toy cash register to teach finance and math, or anything else that teaches a lesson or a concept. As I always say, it comes down to intentional ownership, knowing why you own what you own, and applying this to your kids as well. And every toy doesn't have to be educational. The goal isn't just to keep a whole bunch of stuff that teaches them and nothing that's actually fun to play with. Sometimes your kids do need to just play without thinking and just kind of relax their mind and get away from the learning concepts. But remember, you are the one who gets to decide which toys you keep, not your kids. But it's done through an intentional conversation with your kids so that they do have a say in it. At the end of the day, it is your home, and most likely you know best for what your kids need to keep. Just simply keep the toys that will help, not the toys that will hinder your kids. Kids can make all kinds of toys outside if they don't have anything. They can use sticks, they can use rocks, they can come up with all kinds of ideas. You're not going to regret getting rid of certain toys. Finally, let's talk about how to get rid of your toys. So you want to do this ethically and responsibly, and you don't want to just throw everything in the trash, though some toys may need to go straight into the trash. But there are plenty of ways to get rid of your toys. Check the thrift stores or the local churches around your area. Even if it's not your church, some of the churches in your area may have a program where they send toys to kids who are overseas, especially in third world countries where that may be the only toy they ever have. And let your kids see this in action. If you're donating these toys to a cause where they're actually going to kids who have nothing, let your kids see this. This toy that maybe they barely appreciated, they're getting rid of it, and now it's going to this kid, and it will be his or her only toy that they may have until they're 18, and just helps your kid to kind of get an appreciation for that. And it will most likely make it easier for them to give if they're a little bit reluctant in the first place. Now again, ethical and responsible donations for sure, but don't get so caught up on how you donate that you end up leaving the toys in your house and cluttering everything because you just don't know where to take the stuff. So be responsible in how you're giving the stuff away, or even if you're selling it or whatever, but don't let that responsibility hold you back from giving, or some sort of guilt of, oh, I want to make sure I'm giving it to the right place. Don't get caught up in that. Again, some of the toys do just need to go straight into the garbage. Maybe they're broken, maybe they're just not worth anything anymore and they just need to go into the trash. Honestly though, in the States, it's really easy to just go find a thrift store or a church that you can give it to, or a church that has a thrift store, and you can give it away really easily. When we lived in Italy, it was extremely difficult to find a place to donate things. I don't know how Japan is yet, where we live now, but the States definitely has it going on as far as thrift stores and places to donate your stuff. But seriously, some toys just need to go in the dumpster. Please don't forget to subscribe for more videos on money, minimalism, and our travel journey around the world. Check out my new book, Intentional Children. There is an entire chapter in there about the things that we own, and it talks all about toys and everything, so check that out. I'll put a link below. That is all for today. I will see you next week.